Hi, Grandma Debbie here. So, I really enjoy breakfast. I enjoy it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Um, and I'm always looking for some interesting things to make. And please, if you have any recipes that you would like to share that you think I should make, please share them with me. Put them in the comments. I will gladly give it a try. But what we're going to have this time is we're going to be having overnight blueberry French toast. So you make it up ahead of time, cover it, put it in the refrigerator, take it out in the morning, and turn on the oven and bake it away. And so this is a great recipe to use when you have a lot of people to feed and you have a crowd. This is great because you can make it up ahead of time. It's also great if it's just for two people. Now I'm cutting the recipe down because it's just my husband and I, so we don't need a huge, we don't need a big pile of French toast. So, but we'll probably end up having some leftovers. That's fine, perfectly fine. So we're gonna get started, and I'm gonna bring you along with me. All right, let's get going. Okay, the first thing I'm gonna go ahead and do is spray my casserole dish so that it is all ready to go. And then I'm going to just move it off to the side. I'm going to grab my loaf of bread. Now, I know my bread looks wonky, but what happened was that I made it in my bread machine, and for some unknown reason, it keeps doing this. Now, you want your bread dry because it's got to absorb all of the fluid. Oh my gosh, I can't even think. All the egg mixture. So you want it to be a little bit dry. So I actually made this yesterday, and I've had it sitting out on the counter so that it would dry. But if you have day-old bread, by all means use your day-old bread. So I've done all the troubleshoots because this keeps happening with my bread. So I've done all the troubleshoots to see what I'm doing wrong. And I'm not doing anything wrong. So I don't know if it's maybe just the bread machine, because it's a fairly new bread machine. And so I'm thinking that might be the problem. All right, I got to clean up these crumbs. So, but I'm thinking that that's probably what is going on, is the something in the bread machine just does that. I don't know. It's not like it doesn't taste bad. It tastes good. All right, let me clean this up. Okay, now you could just leave the bread as is and just do it this way. But I'm going to cube it up a little bit, kind of in larger chunks. Boy, it really is dry. But that's okay, because it will be delicious after all of the after the egg mixture goes in and sits overnight. And your chunks could be as big as you want them to be or as small as you want them to be. And like I said, you don't even have to chunk up the bread if you don't want to. But you can actually, if you're using store-bought lunch bread, you can just actually even layer it in there. So it's pretty versatile as to what you do and how you do it. I love the smell of homemade bread. I was actually going to make it from scratch and not use the bread machine, but it's been really hot, and the last thing I really wanted to do is heat up my kitchen too much. All right, so we got that going. I'm just going to kind of move the crumbs off to the side a little bit. And I got a cup of blueberries. All right, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make my egg mixture. So I'm going to start off with 4 eggs. Once again, you do this. Well, let me start with a half cup of milk. Well, I got 1 egg already cracked. I meant to dump the milk in here first so I could measure it out. And you want to use whatever kind of milk you would normally use. All right, I've used a little more than a half cup. Whatever kind of milk you would use for French toast is the kind of milk that you want to use. All right, we got our 4 eggs. We're going to do a teaspoon of vanilla. I'm going to do just a skosh more. And then you're going to add cinnamon. Add it however much you want to add in there. I like a lot of cinnamon. Grab a whisk. And I might add 1 more egg and a little bit more milk. This just does not seem like it's going to be enough to cover all the bread. So I'll go ahead and add a little bit more milk and get another egg. You can also use half and half or whipping cream, however you make your French toast. So I do want to tell you guys a little story about French toast. So when my youngest daughter was little, I was standing here in the kitchen and I was getting ready to make French toast, and we were chit-chatting, and I wasn't paying too close attention to what I was doing. So what did I do? I added pepper instead of vanilla. And she goes, I thought you were making French toast. And I was like, man, I am. All right, so we're going to add half of our bread in here. Then we're going to add in our half of our blueberries. And we're going to add the rest of our bread. And then we're going to add the rest of our blueberries. All right. Now we're just going to pour over our egg mixture. You want to try and make for sure that all the bread is covered. Whoops. Oh, that egg didn't get... Oh, that'll be fine. You know what I might do? I didn't scramble the eggs very well. I think I'm going to do another egg and some more milk to try and get some of this bread. I just don't think it's enough. All right, that's what I'm going to do. All right, so I made up a little bit more of the egg mixture. And pour it around. All right, so now we're going to cover this, put it in the refrigerator for overnight. Okay, so I got my plastic wrap out, and now we're just going to wrap it up so we can get it in the refrigerator. You want to wrap it as tight as you can. Now this can stay in the refrigerator for up to 24 hours. I wouldn't go further than that before you bake it. But how's it look? All right, so I'm gonna get it in the refrigerator and I'll see you in the morning. Good morning. All right, so it's sat overnight, and so we're gonna let this sit here until our oven is preheated. So I'm going to turn my oven on to 350. I'm going to take this off so you can see. Oh yeah, everything has soaked up. My refrigerator is really cold, and so I got ice on it. But that's what it looks like so far. And I think I'm actually going to set this over on the oven because it's really, really super cold while it's heating up, so it'll warm this up. But it's going to go into the oven for about 35 minutes. And I'm looking forward to it. It smells delicious. All right, so that's what I'm doing so far. Okay, so it's been in the oven for 35 minutes, and it's all nice and crispy and ready to eat and enjoy. I might put this back in the oven for another 5 minutes because it's still kind of mushy. All right, so I just got this out of the oven. I ended up cooking it for 40 minutes because it was so cold. I should have left it sitting out for about a half hour or so to warm up the dish. My refrigerator worked really well and froze it a little bit. So, but at any rate, it looks delicious. Can't wait to dig into it. And you can serve this with either syrup or powdered sugar. It's up to you, whatever you want to serve it with. And you just dish it out. But doesn't it look good? So I just want to thank you for coming along with me on this journey. I hope that you're having an amazing day and everything's going really well for you. Give this recipe a try. It's great for a large crowd or just 1 or 2 people, whichever one you want. It smells, my kitchen smells wonderful. So looking forward to dipping into it. All right. Well, hit that like, hit the share, and hit the subscribe button, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.